Me and my friends were exploring this abandoned building once, and it was crazier than we thought. So, me and my three friends, let's call them Joe, Bud, and Reagan, we were bored on the last day of summer and wanted something exciting to do. Bud said, "How about we go explore something?" At first, we didn't really want to do that. It felt too boring. All the abandoned buildings around our town were already explored or demolished, but Bud told us about a new abandoned building, one that any of us had ever heard about. We hadn't even seen the building, even though almost all of us had lived in that town for 18 years. Except for Reagan, he moved in a couple of years back. Once Bud told us about a house that we had never heard of. All of us got very excited. All the other abandoned buildings were lame, but this one sounded very thrilling. The building is said to be an old psych ward, Bud said. That got us even more excited. "How old is it?" I asked. "I don't really know," Bud said. "All I know is that it's abandoned and supposed to be very scary, and there may even be traps," Bud added. "Wow," we all said in unison. The traps made it more exciting for us because we were young and thought it's like a video game. We got outside, hopped on our bikes, and took off. We stopped by a store and got some snacks and energy drinks to enjoy while we were inside the building. Then it was time to go. We went into a forest nearby. Bud was the only one who knew where this place was. That made me a little bit suspicious about this whole thing. That and the fact that this was supposed to be an abandoned psych ward that none of us knew about. We walked on this path through a dense forest. The path was old and no one had been there in ages. Or so we thought. It was dark even though it was during the day because the forest was that dense. Then I started to see light coming through the thick leaves and branches, and a building. Pretty small, I thought. The building was quite small, about the size of a 2-story house. It looked small because I imagined a psych ward to be huge. It looked abandoned but not completely worn off by the weather. The windows had bars on them and the paint was in pretty good shape. Few cracks here and there, but nothing big. Surprisingly, it did not have any fence or gate surrounding it, just the building in the middle of the woods. "How the hell have we not heard about this?" Joe said. "I don't know," I answered in disbelief. We walked up to the front door. It looked almost normal, but it too had bars on its windows. We tried the handle. Click. The door unlocked and we opened it. As we got inside, everything looked brand new. Walls were painted a light blue color and the floor was made from wood. All in darn good shape for an abandoned building. Everyone was pretty anxious about the whole thing, I could feel it. "How long has this even been abandoned?" I asked. "I don't know, but it doesn't look abandoned," Bud said with this horrified look on his face. He looked like he didn't have any clue about this place, and from how he talked earlier, it seemed like he had been inside this building before. "So you have never been here?" I asked with a small bit of anger in my voice. "Nope," he told us. Now we all were scared as hell. I sensed that in each one of us. We were all scared and wanted to get out, but our egos didn't allow it, and we continued exploring. We went into a room. It had a sofa in it and a couple of chairs with restraints on it. "Wow, this actually is abandoned and old," Reagan said. "These types of chairs are not used anymore," he added. Apparently, he was really into abandoned hospitals and psych wards and had been researching them a lot. Then we heard a ghostly voice whisper, "Get out." "What the fuck?" Joe said loudly. Then we heard a door slam shut and footsteps followed by what seemed to be chains rattling or someone walking with chains on their body. We looked behind us and the door to the room was closed. "Did that door just slam shut?" I stuttered. I was terrified and almost had a panic attack. "I think it did," Reagan said, also stuttering. "We need to get out," Bud yelled. So we did. Joe went first and opened the door slowly. We heard nothing. We stepped back into the lobby. We heard a whisper, "Shh," but I couldn't hear what it said. Then we heard the chain rattle again. It sounded like it was coming closer, and it was. Every second that passed, that sound came closer and closer. We started walking towards the exit. We wanted to get out of there. I tried to open the front door, but it didn't open. What? I thought. We just came in from that door maybe 20 minutes ago. It's locked, I said, visibly shaking. We have to find another way out, said Joe. He didn't seem scared at all. That calmed me down too, because what could happen to us, right? We started to walk inside the building looking for a way out. The rattling was gone. Weird. Then all of a sudden we heard another slam sound. I looked behind us and I can still see that picture in my head. There it was, Bud, laying on the floor, not moving nor breathing. I checked his pulse and he was dead. He had a plank attached to his head with lots of blood on the floor. What the fuck? I yelled, and we started running towards the exit. I was so scared that I almost couldn't run. We made it to the exit and opened the door. How the fuck is it unlocked? Reagan yelled. And he started to cry as well. Then we started to run away from there so fast that we even forgot our bikes. I glanced back at the building and I saw lights on in one room and a weird figure just waving at us. We stopped to catch our breath and I called the police. We waited for what felt like at least 2 hours, but in reality it was maybe 20 minutes. The cops arrived and we explained what happened. They went in and came out maybe 10 minutes later. They said that Bud was really dead, but the house was also empty. We were all shocked and started to cry a little. Or at least me and Reagan did. Joe was calm, too calm. It was bizarre. Our friend just died, and all because we entered that abandoned ward. I never thought that this would be the last time I'm going to see Bud.